There's been widespread condemnation of Myanmar's first executions in decades. The United States, France, Cambodia and the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Myanmar condemned the execution of political activists and elected officials in Myanmar and called the military government to immediately cease the violence.
Protesters marched in Yangon to condemn the executions in Myanmar. A dozen masked protesters risked arrest, displayed a banner reading, "We will never be frightened," and called out the names of the executed activists. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Myanmar, Tom Andrews, expressed outrage on Monday.
I was outraged. This is a horrific situation. It, I think, is a demonstration to all of us. No limits to the depths of depravity of this military junta.
Andrews said at least 140 people remain on death row in the country.
Political activist Nay San Lwin is the co-founder of Free Rohingya Coalition. He joins us now, speaks to us from Frankfurt in Germany. A very good evening to you and thank you so much for speaking to us. So as we mentioned earlier on, that this is said to be Myanmar's military junta's first death sentences in more than 3 decades. Why now?
Well, we didn't expect this happen. We were just thinking that the junta failed the fear, but unfortunately, today morning, they announced that the execution had been carried out, but we don't know when this happened. Last Friday, the political prisoner, two prominent Ko Phyo Ziato and the Ko Jimmy, and the two other had the meeting with their family, but not in person. They went to the jail, and they had the Zoom meeting with those these 4 political prisoners. So they were not informed. So this morning, the family all family were surprised, and they went to the jail and asked the concerned authority. Then they confirmed that the execution had been carried out. So this is just to fail the fear, but there is a lot of backfire now. The people are asking to start up this armed revolution. So there are also explosion around the largest city in Rangoon today, and in other city as well. So I think the people are really very angry and very emotional now. So the people. Like last year, they joined all the protests and the demonstration across the country. Now the people are very much angry. I think the people will support this armed system more than ever to take down this military dictatorship. They are very much cruel, and they have committed the genocide against the Rohingya. And now they are committing the crime against humanity against the entire population in the country. So this is very much crucial to take them down from the capital, Naypyidaw.
I will talk about the protests in just a moment, but I want to look at the profile of those who are executed. There's 4 of them, as you mentioned, Kyo Min Yu. There's also Ko Jimmy and several others, or the others also include, I believe, Phyo Ziato, who was a hip-hop artist. Tell us a little bit more about the profiles of these activists.
What? Well, let me talk about the Phyo Ziato. He's at the 41. He's the formerly a lawmaker from the ruling party led by the Aung San Suu Kyi. And he was as you mentioned, he was the hip-hop rapper. And he was also an activist, I think founding member of the Generation Wave, which was very active during the 2007, the Saffron Revolution in Myanmar. And then later in 2008, he was arrested, and I think he was released in 2012. Since then, he was elected as the parliament member. So last year, he was, I think in October, in October, a housing complex was raided, and he was arrested inside an apartment with arms and ammunition. So he was charged as he is committing the crime, and with the counter-terrorism law they charge him. So in regard to the Ku Jimmy or the Chomiyu, he is a senior activist from the 1988 student generation. He was very prominent, and he served he was behind bar for almost more than 15 years, and multiple time he was arrested. Last year also he was arrested, of being accused being as the advisor to the exile, they call the exile government, but this government has the people mandate, national unity government, and also the military regime accused him that he is supporting the armed resistance. So he was also charged with the counterterrorism law and the treason, and sentenced to death. So the two other, Lam Yo Ong and the Ongtura Zotura Ong, they were accused being killing a woman who is an informant of the military regime. So I don't know whether they really killed, but they were arrested, and they were sentenced to death. But all they appealed, but these two, the last two, they appealed, but the court rejected, and they didn't have the proper legal counsel. They were not allowed to hire the lawyer at the military court. So Court Jimmy and the Piosiato also, they appealed, but the court rejected. This is not the civilian court. These are the military court. So the proceedings are very quick and straight. And the punishment, they are saying according to law, but these all are the violating the international human rights law.
You mentioned earlier on that there were some explosions reported along the city. Is this as a result of growing pro-democracy protests? And just share with us how serious is the situation, because according to reports we have, that there are at least 117 people who've been sentenced to death in Myanmar in the past year.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. 117 people are still in line. So we had, in a few days, they will execute another 30 prisoners. So this armed resistance, since last year, the people fast, they came out to the street and protested, and they appealed the international community to take the serious action against the military regime. But so far, the response from international community is very little. Like the imposing sanction, like this sanction are like don't travel to our country for the vacation. So this sanction didn't pressure the military regime, and also there are the just travel ban and not much. We have been asking the US, UK, and the other country to impose the serious sanction that will really hurt the military business. There are also a lot of the crony business linked with the military, and especially like the oil and gas enterprise. It is one biggest revenue for the military junta to buy the weapon from Russia and China, and then kill the innocent civilians. So we have been asking, but the response is very slow, and we were really disappointed. And that the people then they decided to do this armed revolution. So there are a lot of youth, 10,000 of youth. They went to the ethnic. They joined. They went to this area of the ethnic armed group, where they got their military training and come back, and now they are conducting the guerrilla, the war, and always they are countering with the military. So, but still, lack of the equipment, they can do properly. But that is the reason, we activists, although we are not supporting the violence struggle, but the situation, since the international community is ignoring the plight of the people, of the more than 50 million, we are appealing the world to treat us the same as the Ukraine. We are not asking the such large amount. We are just asking 1 or 2% such help will liberate the